Welcome to Cinephile Entertainment. I'm the Cinephile critic, and today I'll be reviewing this movie. Kant lives on Won't Street, lady. Upgrade. So Upgrade is a film directed by Lee Wanell and stars Logan Marshall as Gray, Melanie Avijo as Asha, Betty Gabrielle as Cortez, Harrison Gilbertson as Aaron, and Benedict Hardy as Fisk. So in this film, what happens is you got Gray and Asha, they're a couple. They live in the future. So what you have is really high-tech, self-driving cars in this particular future. They go out one night in her high-tech car. It gets corrupted and they end up being in a crash. Something happens, what seems like a robbery. Something bad happens to his wife and it leaves Gray, the main protagonist, as a quadriplegic. He can move his head, but his arms and his body and everything basically below the neck, he has no response for. His boss is working on a particular chip that can help him become whole again. They perform this operation, he becomes whole, but there is a twist to him having this type of technology in his system. And that's kind of what Upgrade is. It's the horror story of being upgraded. So when people are talking about, computers are taking over the world, this is sort of the horror story to that. One thing I will say about this film is the main character Gray and Cortez, they really carry this film. The actor who plays Gray, he does a phenomenal job in terms of not just acting, but movement. I thought that the choreography in terms of how he should be moving at a certain point when he is upgraded, I thought that that was done brilliantly. I also like what the camera work was like when he was upgraded, how they filmed certain things, his visual, his visual premise, how it changed sort of. I kind of like the way how they did that in this film. So I felt that, the way how it was directed for the most part, especially more towards Gray and him being upgraded, I thought it was done well. The other things, I will come to that in a moment. The team who choreographed the movements, how he's supposed to move, and when he was upgraded and the way how the direction was in those scenes, I felt that was done very well. I felt Cortez, she's a good actor, but I have an issue with her character. Let's go. So this is a futuristic world. This is a futuristic world on a budget, which basically means when you go out into the open, it doesn't work. It doesn't matter how much of the opening scene that they did. The opening scene was very futuristic. It was it was done very well. However, when you are on a budget, especially a budget of this scale, you cannot do what you want to do. You don't have the budget to make it realistic enough when you are in the open. So when this film is in the open, it doesn't work as well as when this film is claustrophobic and left in its corner by itself. So when he is by himself and he is one man versus the world, it's better. When it's in its claustrophobic, it's antisocial behavior type of storyline, it works then. When it tries to be in the open, on the streets and where everyone can see it doesn't work at all. And so that is the part of the film that I like. I like the shadows, the dark, antisocial, him by himself. That is the interesting story. The things is the car that they use in this film. I know it's supposed to be futuristic. It's supposed to be the car of the future. It doesn't work. It doesn't look a quality piece of technology. And that's what is the issue with this particular car when you're selling it against the future of, 2060. Certain things in this film doesn't work, not because it just doesn't work. It's just they didn't have the budget to make you immersed in that particular world, because you know what a good quality technology looks like. And it doesn't look like their car they're trying to pander off as a technology car. The issue with the detective is her relevance to the story. Something happens to his wife. There's not much details what happened to her. But as soon as he comes out and something happens, she then becomes to take a really stern interest to him. And I find that very interesting, because you're not investigating what happened to the wife, but you are interested in where he's at, because certain things happen when he's in a particular scene. But I feel that it's quite interesting that she has so much interest in him at a early point in time, and I felt that that could have been just done a bit better. Her suspicious of him should have really came later, not earlier in investigation. You know, that is my main problem with her as a character in where they place her. However, she does a good enough job, and she is one of the tools that they use to move the story on to the next part. This film does quite a few things well. The themes that it brings up is quite interesting. The way how, you know, as the story goes on, it becomes, it's suspenseful. It can be quite violent, you know, at times, but it's actually the themes that it brings up. I feel that this film is well worth the watch. And to be honest, once you pass, I would say the first 20 minutes of the film becomes more inviting. The other thing about the film, it's not overly blown. It's contained. It's a decent watch time. They haven't, you know, longed it out. So that was one of the good things as well. And I felt it was acted and it was done very, very well. And this is probably one of the hidden gems that has come out in cinema for this sort of time period. So I would say that this film is well worth a watch. It will be striking up thought-provoking question, you know, how technology is in today and where it can go and how dangerous that can be, or is there any really danger in technology? I didn't know much about it. I'm glad that I did see it, and I will be rating this film as I thought intriguing. I felt that it is one of those small little gems that you will enjoy. I feel that where this film excels is when it's small and contained and it's just one man and his plight. Where, you know, it falls apart is where it tries to be open. You know, the whole detective sort of situation, it's kind of like middle ground, I would say, because it works, but more towards the end than it does in the beginning. The character Cortez could have been done a little bit better. Have you seen this film? If you've seen this film, let me know what you think. Also, I would like to ask what other film that is involving technology that you've seen that you liked. You know, I would love to see what you guys watch. Thank you for watching my review. If you liked what you saw, then please click subscribe. If you're thinking, you know what, just give me a moment, I'll come back and I'll check you out again. Then hopefully I will see you again. And remember, until next time,